Hello, everybody. And what I'm going to talk about is basically why I don't get along with black people for the most part. Um, since I am a black man, I know that's going to be a controversial topic. I'm going to get the coon label thrown at me, maybe. But if you really, put yourself in my position, you will understand why and where I'm coming from on this. So basically, imagine that you was born and raised in the suburbs, outside of a big city, outside of LA in Orange County. You're raised by a single black mother who's psychotic and insane, among other things. And basically, and you're raised in this suburban area during the 80s and 90s when there really wasn't that many black people at the time, and you had a higher concentration of old school white racists who had migrated and moved out to California many years ago, probably from the Midwest or wherever they came from with their beliefs concerning black people. Imagine you're in the school system and your favorite subjects in class are social studies and history. And since those are your favorite subjects that you're interested in, you should do very well in those classes, right? Well, since you had racist ass teachers who didn't like you because you're black, instead of you getting an A or a B in that class, you come away with a C or sometimes even a D. Imagine that. Imagine you getting a C or a D in your favorite classes, but because the teacher's racist, that's what you're gonna get. And instead of getting a grade that you should get, and that was the case with a lot of my grades. Um, Imagine you step out in public, you're a teenager in the 90s, and you're walking down the street going, because, you didn't have a car to drive because, your mother, psychotic, and also she probably couldn't afford to buy you a car. So you have to walk everywhere you went to, or ride the bus, or ride your bicycle. Me, I walked down the street everywhere I went, um, and get stopped by the police. This happened on more than one occasion, and the police always stop you and ask you, "Hey, where are you going? What are you doing? Where are you coming from? Um, what are you doing here?" Like, I'm lost or something. They really acted like I was lost and like I didn't belong there and like I didn't live there when in fact I actually lived there. That's how the um, police officers of that town treated me. And then um, or there was someone who called the police on me in my neighborhood saying that there's a suspicious person walking around in the neighborhood. And or you walk down the street, or you're in a shopping center or at the grocery store or whatnot, and like the white females would like be very afraid of you. They would clutch their purse. If they're inside their vehicle, you would hear the doors locked. Keep in mind, you're not the stereotypical black dude because you've grown up in this suburban area and you've adapted and you learned real quick at an early age to not be the stereotypical black guy. You know, you're not walking around wearing blue or red. You're not walking around with your pants sagging, or any other stereotypical things of negative black males that you would have. But you know, you're still a black male. You're still a young black boy, and you're still treated like crap. So, but it wasn't all bad. You know, I had also a lot of good times growing up in Orange County. You know, it's just that I pretty much trained myself to basically be non-threatening, and I think that's what happens to a lot of black people who grow up in the suburbs. They try to assimilate. uh, you can't fault them for that. That's just the way it is. And basically, you know, I wasn't around too many black people until high school, when more and more black people started moving to Orange County. And I tried to like hang around them and be around them, but you know, they felt that I was too whitewashed. And so they basically shunned me, or they ridiculed me, or they ostracized me. And it's always been that way with black people. Every time I'm trying to like, you know, associate with them, it's I'm corny, I'm lame, I don't have swag. Uh, they didn't say that back then, but that's what they're talking about. That's what they meant. The terminology swag. I think that came about in the early 2000s, and I graduated high school in 1999. So, um, but pretty much, you know, yeah, black people, you know, we got swag. We're cool. We're extra cool. Uh, Non-black people, the white, Hispanic, and Asian people, they automatically thought that about me just because I was black. And the black people did not think that because they was from the hood or they was around other black people, and they took on this characteristic of, you know, being more authentically black and stereotypically black and having swag and whatnot. So, but I've given it my all, and every single time black people, for the most part, tend to let me down. Um, I even went to a black college, HBCU, historically black college and university, and so, you know, where you had black people from all walks of life, black people from the hood, from the ghetto, from middle class, from upper middle class, from affluent levels, uh, single parent household, two parent household, step parents, whatnot. I went to that. And even when I went to a HBCU, I still did not fit in with the black people there. I just didn't. And of course, it was also down south, and that's a whole another different type of culture from Orange County, California. So, yeah, I just don't get along. I've tried most of my, and let me just say it, living here in LA is actually racist. People might not think it is because LA is a big city. It's in California. California is a blue liberal state. Liberal does not necessarily mean there's less racism. Let me just tell you that right now. Um, but yeah, in spite of the racism here, um, from the non-black people that black people have to deal with living in LA on a day-to-day basis, my best friends, or the people who've been there for me, or who've done favors for me, or who've helped me out when I needed help, were Hispanic or white people. That's why, and also, I am totally aware of racism, and I've definitely experienced it in my life. I'm still experiencing it. There is a system of white supremacy here in the United States of America. So I do acknowledge that. I'm not a coon, but you could say I'm a coon, and I will disagree with you. You don't know what a real coon is. But yeah, that's pretty much um, the deal with that. And you guys have a good morning and a good day. I will follow up with another video, more than likely talking about why I don't get along with black women. You guys have a good day now. Bye.